Right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to actually make a mod, and this requires us to open up the game editor. And to do that through Steam, we just click the play button and then click launch game editor, then hit play. Now, if you're not through Steam, you can also find the game launcher through Kenshi in the Kenshi folder and look for forgotten construction set dot executable. You'll want to double click that and it'll open up this window. Now, this is all your game data. You don't want to deselect any of that. This entire menu right here, this entire list, should be empty if you have no mods and this is your first time modding. In our case, or in any case, all you have to do is click the new mod file button. Name your mod. I'm going to name it test mod. Click create, and it might do that. Don't worry, just minimize the the game launcher right there for some reason. It seems to do that all the time. Now, as you can see, I have 2 mods checked off because I accidentally clicked the nothing mod. The one thing you have to look for is which mod is active. Now, you can have a whole bunch of mods activated, but the one that is active, as demonstrated here, is the mod where you are going to make all of your changes in. So you could see all this stuff. Whatever changes you make, even if it's changes to other mods, it will be saved to the mod that is active. Now, for the purposes of this video, we need to deselect everything except for the test mod. Make sure this is the one that is active and then click done. The first thing that shows up is the game world window. And there are a whole bunch of different entries here. The one thing we need to do is we need to make a town. So we click on towns, right click here, anywhere in this menu here, and click new item. Now we can do open item references, and this will list where all these towns are referenced and all that stuff. You can go through this stuff, but if you're following along, just click new item, and this will make a new town entry. Now we need to name our town. Let's name it Test 1. Great. As for public, we want to keep it true. Now, the purpose of this is, say for example, crowd's chosen. You walk into their base, they're pissed, they instantly attack you. But if you just walk up to the gates, you don't go inside, they're fine. They will not attack. If it's set, this is things for like military bases. Now, what's cool about the FCS is that you can click on just about anything and it will have a description at the bottom. You'll probably see me reading that just because it's hard to explain some of this stuff. As for secret, read the description, used for crafty secret towns, stops the GUI from displaying building factions and giving away surprises. We can set that to false. Foliage range is the range of no foliage from your town. See, no foliage will be spawned within this range. Alright. Yeah, set that to 0. You can set it to 2000, I don't care. If you really, hate foliage. I don't mind it. I like to build around the foliage, so I keep it at 0. Residence override. This is important because say we had a faction and we assigned this town a faction. United Cities. I built my town in-game and I didn't assign any residents, or I assigned residents, but because I set this resident override to false, it's just gonna choose residents from the faction. So the faction has pre-built residents in, and it's just gonna pick from those over whatever I put in here. So we don't want that. We want our residents in our town to override that of whatever the faction has. Our town radius is the size of our town. Multipliers of 1. And then our town type. So each type has its own caveats, nests, outposts, towns. Most of these can be duplicated, and I'll explain that in a bit later. But we want a town. An unexplored name is an optional mysterious name. When the town is unexplored, then we don't have to worry about these. These are for nest. Right. And this should be everything. So now all we have to do is click that save button. And now we're on to the next part, which is actually loading up in the game and placing down our town. Make sure our mod is active. And let's head right in. Right, so where you want to start, it can be anywhere. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to pick the Wanderer start. If you can create a custom start that spawns you anywhere, and you can, and it's a location that you picked, it might help you out more, considering that it'll be closer to the location you want to build your town. That's very helpful. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to use the Wanderer start. It's going to spawn us in the hub, and we're going to build our town right next to the city. All right, fantastic. So we're loaded in. Now, in order to start modding, all you got to do is hold Shift and then press F12. Just like that. Voila. We're in a new world now. So, there are a whole bunch of buttons up here. Let me explain what each one of them does. So the town placement, these are all your towns. We'll come back to that soon. Buildings, it's a build menu that is not limited to the resources you have. They are built instantly. Items is for placing items in interiors. Reset population, don't press that. That resets the population everywhere. Don't ever press that. Don't ever press the fix stuff button. If you have mods loaded, this will break mods. Don't do it. Nav mesh tools, this is for nav mesh and roads. You don't want to mess with that. It is very buggy. Terrain features, don't bother. You cannot save any terrain features to a mod. Then terrain fog, you don't want to mess with that either. So anyway, click down this drop menu, select your test mod that we made, and with that selected, anything we change in the game world will be saved to this mod when we press this save mod button. Okay. Now that we have that out of the way, we can look for an area. This looks like a good area to build a town. Sure, why not? We'll press the town placement button, and we have a whole list of towns. Say I can't find it. All right, let's go down to the search menu or search bar right here. Click it, and then type away. So I named my town Test 1. It's the only one named that. I select it from the list. Now I see how the icon is following my mouse everywhere. When I left click, it will place down the town. But now, as you can see, I can't pick it back up. The only way to pick it back up is to look at the town icon and then select it from the list again. So I'm going to select it. Voila, it's following my mouse again. If I right click, it will deselect it and it'll go back to its original spot. Let's click it again. Now I can just place it wherever I want. I left click. Now it's over there. Click it again from the menu. Press the delete button. I've deleted the town now. It's no longer in the game world. See, it's not even following my mouse anymore. Let's place it back down. All right, left click. There we go. Now, as you can see, the town is placed. It has a radius. Now, this radius is important because anything within the radius not only will belong to your town, but it also marks where lights would turn on or off. So if you place lights that are not within the town radius, it will not light up, depending on what the light is. Usually, if it's dependent on electricity, it's not connected to the grid anymore, it will not light up. So you want to keep everything within the town radius. All right, great. Now that that's out of the way, let's place down some buildings. So as you can see, we pretty much have access to everything with this build menu. And there are no resource requirements. You can place things in the red. It does not matter. For example, let's place down a storm house. And I'm going to try and get it as red as possible. Boom. Placed it. Confirmed. Didn't care. Let me do it anyway. Let's place down another one. Some build menu controls. Negative and plus and negative determines, the elevation of the building. Plus and negative. It's pretty restrictive. And then the left and right brackets control whether or not it's flushed against the slope or not. Left bracket is to completely level the building. Right is to have it flushed against the whatever the slope angle is. I want my buildings to be leveled. Let's place down another storm house. Let's make sure that the stairs are touching so that AI can properly path. There we go. Fantastic. And now let's place down an L house. Why not? Great. So those are three buildings right there. Now let's place down a gate. We'll place down a level 4 gate. I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to build walls properly. So I've leveled out the gate using the left bracket on my keyboard. Click confirm. All right, now let's build a wall. Defensive wall 4. Stretch it out. As you can see, if I bring the wall facing the gate, if I bring the wall forward towards me, if I pull it towards me, you can see there's a blue arrow. What's that doing? What that is doing is it's making a connector so that it's properly angled the wall is. We don't want that. So we're just going to bring it back. Bring it back. There we go. And the x-axis for this wall is right here. I mean, the axis is right there. We can level that out with the pitch. As you can see, when I first selected it was position global. I want to change the orientation of this whole wall. It was, what was it at? 5. So it's kind of sloped like that. Just exit out. Click away. 0. Now let's follow. Okay, let's see what the yaw is for this defensive wall. It's perfectly leveled already. It's facing 211.386 degrees that way. So let's put that in. 211.683 is what I believe it was, or 386. 386. And that is a perfectly leveled wall facing the exact same direction, perfectly flush with the gate. It's fantastic. Say you want the wall on to the right of this defensive gate, I would recommend that you just drag it. Right? You can drag it and make sure that it's nice and flush. Say you don't do that. Let's just press that delete button. Gone. You can do that with any building. Select it, press the delete button. Gone. Let's replace that wall. Do it properly this time. There's one wall. There's a second wall. Do proper orientation. Now we've run into some problems because say we wanted it to be the exact same, y'all. So it's 11.11.386. 386. 11386. It's not even anymore. And this causes problems. That's because when we placed the wall down, the x-axis was over here, and it was just not flushed against against the gate as it was over on the other side. So this will cause some problems. But like I said, you could probably just drag it along or kind of eyeball it. It's a little more difficult that way and more time consuming. But if you are a OCD purist, uh, it will just take a lot of time. All right, so the y-axis, it's up and down. 782, 26. 26. Okay, let's bring it back a little bit. That's good. Good enough, right? Now let's just attach some ramps up there as well. Ramps automatically lock in. And if you need to move the ramp, select the ramp, make sure it's in local position mode, and just drag it to the left. There we go. Fantastic. Now let's try and add some defenses, but if you're gonna see here in a sec, it's not gonna work. Look at that. Ooh. See, the nodes are still in the same position as the wall was originally placed. So how do we rectify this? Well, a control shift 11, which redoes all the nav mesh, that won't fix it because oh well, I don't know why, but it won't fix the nodes. It will fix improper nav mesh, but that's not enough to fix it. The fix stuff button, I told you not to press it. So don't press that either. How do we do this? So let's save the mod real quick and then press F5 and F9. What that just did is F5 was to autosave, F9 was to reload that save that we just saved. And now, if we check again, defenses, we can place the harpoon turrets down properly. Even place down some lights. Use some small lights here. Searchlight. Why not? Fantastic. All right. Now, let's click on these buildings. How do we assign stuff to these buildings? How do we assign squads and stuff to these buildings, like people, AI, and stuff? Well, that's all determined by, get this, the interior and exterior list. Very exciting. So, you need to keep track of of these lists. So we want a squad of like, what, 5 people inside this building? Like, make it a bar and stuff? Well, all we have to do is make a squad with this bar interior assigned, and he will spawn in one of these two buildings. Say we wanted that L house, right? If we try to make a bar right now, if we try to assign a bar right now, it will spawn in one of these 3 buildings. Why? Well, because the L house also has a bar in its interior list. See where I'm getting at? So that's why it's helpful to actually open up another instance of Kenshi. And to do that, we go to, we can actually open up if you alt tab out of there and you open up Kenshi, the Kenshi folder. In my case, it's under Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Kenshi. You can open up that Forgotten Construction set. Make sure that test mod is active. Now let's look at our town. So here's where things get a little complicated. Not too much. You want to assign a residence to those houses, right? And we have to keep in mind the interior designs and stuff, interior list. I know there is a squad called Bar Black Market that has that bar interior. As you can see, I scroll down and under town residents, it says layout bar and for interior, and then layout exterior bar sign. Now there's only this building right here has both of those requirements. Henceforth, it will spawn in this building because these two are the same buildings. It will spawn in either of these two buildings. But also, because the L house also has a bar sign and a bar, it will spawn there as well. Or, they all equally have a chance of spawning in there. So how do we make it so that they only spawn in the L house? Well, it's simple. We need to change the building preferences. So, in our case, we don't ever want to edit a vanilla resident because we just chose this from the list of vanilla residents, right? So, right click that resident, click replace with copy. We're making a new copy that's exactly the same as that bar black market. Let's name it Joe's Pub, just for the sake of it. And let's, from the drop down menu, click building. Now we can also do it the other way, building dislike, or just building. Building is the building that they prefer. Building dislike is the building that they do not prefer. In our case, we want it to be the L house, right? L house. Then let's do a building dislike as well, just to make sure. I'm gonna pick the storm house. Now we know that it's going to prefer the L house over the storm house. Now let's look at this resident, shall we? So I just chose a random resident for the list. It has the right interiors. Like I said, that's how you assign, residents to buildings, is through their interiors. And we can change the name. That's not dependent on anything. It's just so it will display. It's the name of the place that will display. Yeah, so we'll name it Joe's Pub. So when you click on that building, it will be called Joe's Pub. And with that, we can look at some of the other stuff on here. So public beds, yes. Public during the day and night, yes, because it's a 24-hour pub. We want them to be in there. We can set regenerates to true. That way, if, like the description says, they will slowly regenerate over time to restore losses and prevent the town from getting worn away to nothing. Don't have to worry about these. Sell home is to make a building buyable. You don't want to do that unless you really want to buy that building. When you buy a building, obviously, all the residents just leave the building and the building becomes empty, but you own it now. So that's how you make things viable. It's not a roaming military squad. Buy multipliers. You can click these. You can see what everything does. Is trader, yes. And now let's look at the drop down menu. AI packages. So this bar has a Shop 24 AI package. Now I saw on Reddit that someone said that you can't edit AI packages. That's incorrect. Just right click. Let's make a new copy. Remember, followed as process. You don't ever want to edit anything that is used by the vanilla game. You just want to make new stuff and add on to it. So, shopkeep 24 hour. Let's name it Joe's Pub AI. And as we can see, the leader AI goals are shopkeeper, protect squad, open shop shop doors, medic. And if we click on it, it'll tell us what these values mean. So 1 and 2 is the start and finish time of day. 0 to 23 can't read outside numbers, and then the third value is the weight. So it seems that this leader values all of these things equally, and 100 is just a stand-in for all the time. Same with medic, I guess it's 24. Then we look at our squad. We got static guard building. Let's add AI goals for us for squad 2. And we're gonna do patrol town. That's one I know by heart. So now if we added a person to squad 2, they will only patrol the hometown. And you can creep on all these, select them, then double click them, and they'll kind of tell you what they do. Not really. Your best bet is to find squads in the world and look them up, and then see what their AI packages are, and then kind of figure it out that way. Let's close that. Let's assign that member to squad 2. Let's do an anti-slaver. He's gonna walk around the town. All right. The faction will belong to the trade ninjas. Okay, sure. Dialogue animal faction. Housemates. Let's add housemates. Essentially what that is you're assigning a squad to a squad. So let's do undertakers. And this squad has their own AI, undertakers, so he's gonna look around for dead corpses and throw them in a corpse furnace. All right. And he's just gonna spawn in that same building. Our leader is the barman. He's got a dialogue package. I won't get into dialogue this time around. Special items are special things that will appear in the inventory of the building. When you assign vendors and special items, they don't go into the barman's backpack or anything like that. They go into all the containers in the house. Got the squad, and you can see the two values, the minimum number of them, and then the second value is the maximum number of them, and 0 is non-random. So because this is set to 0, there will always be 1. Awesome. Let's see here. Special items, world states. Not going to go into that today. That complicates things. Let's see here. So what else do we want? Let's put in a hospital and a hydroponic. So we're looking at the test. We got to add another resident. Hydroponic. And hospital. Sure, why not? let's look at that hospital. Let me show you how to do interiors. So, let's click interior edit mode. I've clicked hospital from the menu, hydroponic. Now back to hospital. Now, you do not ever want to edit vanilla uh vanilla interiors unless you know what you're doing. And the reason I say that is because if you start going in here, deleting everything, it will just respawn again. Like if I deleted this lamp, for example, press the delete button and I click saved, and I click hydroponics, click back to hospital, I'll see that the lamp is disappeared. Say, okay, it's saved. But the next time you load up your game, the lamp will reappear. Anytime you delete stuff from a vanilla interior, it always will come back upon reload of the game. Doesn't matter if you start a new game or playing it. You have to, when you close out a game and then restart it, the lamp will appear right back where it should have been. Now you can move stuff around. Say I move this stool right there and then I click save. That will stay there. The only thing that doesn't work is deleting items. And like I said, you do that by pressing the delete key. That's how you delete stuff. Like how I deleted that L house earlier and that wall, the delete key. Same thing here. Right. So, say I want to make changes to this hospital, but I don't want to edit that vanilla interior, right? Well, what you can do is, with the hospital selected, click the search bar right there, do a space and then a 1, or rename it whatever you want to. Let's name it Cool Hospital. And then let's save that, and now we have Cool Hospital in our entry. And sure shit, it is the exact same as the other hospital. Isn't that cool? But now we can literally, oh fuck, it crashed. That's another thing with Kenshi. If you start spamming in between interiors like that through the interiors list, it will crash your game. Man, I hope I saved that. Let's load up real quick. Come on. Don't care. Alright, so I didn't save the outhouse. That's okay. Do we have defenses on this? We do not. Save. Let's add our defenses again. Do some turrets right there. Fantastic. Do some lights. Large wall light. Cool. Let's go to that interior. That cool hospital. Interior edit mode. Like I said, there's buttons down here to clear and clear nodes. Clearing nodes will clear out any nodes, and clearing will delete every single item right here. Let's do that. Boom, gone. Don't click save, because then I'll save it being clear. Let's click something else, go back to hospital, everything's back again. So, let's do some interior editing. I click the build menu while I'm in the interior edit mode with the show interior. Let's add, let's add a table. Okay. Cool. Doesn't matter if it's red, they don't care. Now, let me show you another thing. This is what the items button is for. Told you we were going to look at this button. Um, I've seen a lot of people uh finding the Shift F12 menu and then clicking the items, thinking, "Oh, I can spawn in anything I want." That's not true. That's not how it works. The items menu is for interior editing. Uh, and for example, it is choosing whenever I place down the foods, it makes a item spawn point that chooses from the foods list, from the food item list. Same thing with general items. Go choose from a list of general items. And that essentially what it does, and you can click save to cool hospital. And now it saved the items and the building, uh, the table to the cool hospital. So next time we click on it, boom, it's right there. That's great. So yeah. And the top floors, these rooftops, they count as whatever floor it is. That's also an interior. The only time you'd want to make an exterior would be for signs and banners. And to do that, we just deselect the show interior button. And now we're looking at the outside. And we'll go to signs. And, just place down a bar sign. Same thing applies here. This place is a hospital sign. All right, cool. Same mumbo jumbo. And I'm just going to go to the construction set here. I'm going to make a copy. Because again, we don't want to edit vanilla residence. Make a new hospital. Cool. Hospital. And the interior is cool hospital. Spelling is important. Capitalization is important. Spaces are important. Make sure it's verbatim. Okay. Otherwise, it will not work. So, cool interior. It will pick the cool interior. And yeah, there we go. Let's do this one. What are we gonna do with this one? Hydroponics. Let's edit the interior for that one as well. I do not think it has any nodes. Let's click that clear nodes button just in case. And then let's add some nodes. This is the node but this is the nodes right here. Let's add a shopkeeper node. This is where the shopkeeper stands. And then some guard posts. And they will cycle through all these nodes, the guards. If you place more than one shopkeeper node, the shopkeeper will cycle through these nodes. Okay? Boom, when you place them, they are not visible. The only way to get rid of them is to click the clear nodes button. We're not going to do that. We're just going to save it. Oh, see, and I made a rookie mistake here. I almost saved it anyway. Let's save it to hydroponics 1. And then is there a space in there? Yeah, there's a space in hydroponics 1. Awesome. Hydroponics, place with a copy. Hydroponic 1. There we go. And then we can like assign a leader or whatever. Trader. I think he has generic. Let's see here. Item trader? What do they have? Yeah, they have dialogue trader 1. That works out. And then AI package, shop, 24 hours. Cool. Squad 1. Shop guard. Let's give him 2 of those. Save that. And then you'll notice that there's no power to this settlement. Let's go to power. Make sure you're not. It's still in interior mode. Let's place down a corpse furnace for those undertakers. Just gonna place it. The thing about generators is that they do not require fuel for NPC towns, and they have maximum power output. That is how that works. You can place down wind generators, but obviously the wind generators are, they are not reliable as wind fluctuates. So don't do that. At least don't think it'll be a reliable source of power compared to a generator. But either way, yeah, have a generator. There's also small shacks you can place down to provide power if you wanted to. And the way that works is just there's another resident out there called power station. If you look in the interior of that, it has a whole bunch of generators inside. And sure shit. And I'm pretty sure a lot of vanilla towns use this. If you look up generators, if we look inside of this, it prefers a small shack and it uses that power station interior. So we can just use that. Bing, bang, boom. Let's use that. We should have power. We should have a hydroponics there. Hospital there. And an L house there. Let's make sure that the building preferences are correct. Storm house. And storm house already for that one. And the final thing we need to do is add a gate guard. So gate guard, Empire gate guard will work. And you can edit this, make your own characters and then put in new characters to replace the squads, get rid of dialogue leader. If you really wanted to go all out, make your own custom ones. Let's change the AI package. There's a couple gate guard packages there. Remember, this is a copy of the gate guard. I'm not editing the actual one. I need them to man the turrets. So this one has gate guard, turrets, and arrest. Get rid of that. So now they should use the turrets. Dude, this is pretty much it. Yeah, that's everything. That should be everything. Let's save this and exit out. And I've saved this mod already. Let's save it again. Let's make sure. Now we're going to launch up Kenshi. And let's see if this town works. Alright, the bar is assigned to the L house as planned. It's named Joe's Pub. Fantastic. Hydroponic 1. If you don't give it a building name, it will just pick the interior name. Cool Hospital is Cool Hospital. Fantastic. There's gate guards. Because the guards had AI package to use turrets. They're using the turrets. This is cool. We got our undertakers walking around looking for people. Dead people. And our power station appears to be working as well. And the town has power. This is awesome. That is essentially it. The only thing you could probably add more of would be bar squads. That's for adding like followers and stuff, or squads that you don't necessarily want them to spawn in a building. You have the bar squads are they can be pretty broken at times. I mean buggy. It's not too common. I've had a lot of luck with them. I think they're pretty much working nowadays. But just keep in mind, you can assign squads just to the town with the bar squads. And they'll just spawn in the middle of town, and then if they don't have an AI package to head to the bar, they'll do whatever. So you can assign a bar squad of people just patrolling the town with a modified AI package. You could do that, you know. So uh, that is essentially it for town modding. God, I do not know how long this video was with regards to everything. I hope you took in all that information well and that I explained it well. I don't know how more thorough I could be. I pretty much covered everything. I've done this a couple times, explaining it things. But that is essentially how you make a town. And there are things, you can make things even more complicated, which I have done in Genesis, and I'll explain that in the future. But otherwise, this is it. Alright, so Project Genesis has undergone some, well, a lot of updates since the alpha release.